Folks, I would like to say, how did we get here? But we know the answer. But anyway, y'all see the title, and I'm chilling with my partner in crime, the observer. And y'all know that's all he do is observe. He doesn't do much in the way of, talking and whatnot. He leaves that to us regular carbon-based life forms. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this going. Let me get the piece here up on the screen, and I will get myself out of the way, and we chop through this as fast as we can. Once I can find the clip and get the button and get my butt out of the way. Now, let's move that around a little bit here. Let's move that. Yeah, let's do that a little better there. Okay. Cause that we don't need me in the way. Okay, you see what it says. The COOF, even though Massive Dynamics say they ain't gonna mess with us for saying it, and yeah, they kind of crossed the line a little bit and blah, skippity, blah, skippity, blah. I don't trust them. I'm sorry, I don't trust them. So, we have a little background music, maybe it'll screw with the machine some, but I'm not gonna say it anyway. Y'all know how to read. The COOF pandemic cost the U.S. economy 14 trillion with a T. Trillion. New research finds. Okay, and you see this was 2023. Y'all know who that is. And no, I'm not gonna pull the Sieg Heil. I'm quite sure he's just moving his hand like, he's talking to a crowd of people. Like showing height or something. I don't know. I can't deal with these robot voices. Anyway, let's go ahead and go. The economic toll of the COOF of the pandemic in the U.S. will reach 14 trillion by the end of 2023. It's 2025 now. And all the economists say that its stuff is still rolling in, so it's probably larger than that now. But anyway, and this is from Fortune.com. Fortune.com has estimated putting a price tag on all the pain, suffering, and upheaval Americans and people around the world have experienced because of the COOF is, of course, hard to do, but more than 1.1 million people have perished as a result of it in the United States, and many more have been hospitalized or lost loved ones. Based on data from the first 30 months of the pandemic, we forecast a scale of total economic losses over a 4-year period from January 2020 to December 2023. This is a pretty short article too, and I'm just going to blow through it. No need for me to give any input. To come up with our estimates, our team used economic modeling to approximate the revenue loss due to mandatory business closures at the beginning of the pandemic. We also use modeling to assess the economic blows from the many changes in personal behavior that continued long after the lockdown orders were lifted. Wow. Such as avoiding restaurants, theaters, and other crowded places. Didn't think about that. You got me there. But I don't know, down here in South Texas, when the restaurants, ours never closed out here in my little old piddly neck of the woods, but in the bigger cities in Texas, man, they were slammed as soon as they opened back up, according to all reports and what I saw on the internet and TV, a local television, Texas-based. Workplace absences, because still got people trying to go back to work. They trying to come back to the office. Workplace absences and sales loss due to cessation of brick and mortar retail shopping, air travel, and public gatherings contributed the most. At the height of the pandemic, In the second quarter of 2020, our survey indicates that international and domestic airline travel fell by nearly 60%, indoor dining by 65%, and indoor shopping by 43%. I remember the airports, because I haven't flown in years. They had the social distancing, had the dots that the people had to stand on while waiting to get boarded, just to get jammed up next to each other on a freaking airplane, breathing the same air. Make it make sense. We found that the three sectors that lost the most ground during the first 30 months of the pandemic were air travel, dining, and health and social services, which contracted by 57.5, 26.5, and 29.16% respectively. These losses were offset to a degree by surges in online purchases. Online went bananas. A series of large fiscal stimulus and economic release packages, that's that bite and that stimmy check, and unprecedented expansion of the number, well, both of them done the stimmy check, but you know what I mean, expansion of the number of Americans working from home, and thus were able to keep doing jobs that might otherwise have been cut. I'm in the towing business. You can't work from home. You can't, shove a tow, what good is the tow truck going to do sitting in my freaking living room? From 2020 to 2023, the cumulative net economic output of the U.S. was amount to about $103 trillion. Without the pandemic, the total of GDP over those 4 years would have been $117 trillion, nearly 14% higher in inflation adjusted 2020 dollars, according to our analysis. We also simulated four different possible economic outcomes had the number of COOF deaths have been different because of either more or less successful public health strategies in the first 30 months of the pandemic. The direct health expense, driven mostly by hospitalization costs in these scenarios, would have totaled $20 billion in a best case scenario in which 65,000 Americans would have perished from January 2020 to 2022. And we're going to have to look that up against the people that perish anyway under flu, pneumonia, and all this other stuff, because, those numbers stopped during that time. They just lumped them all in under COOF. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. In the worst case scenario, about 2 million would have perished during that period, with $365 billion in direct health related expenses. And this is the last piece. Based on our findings, most economic losses were not due to the healthcare expenditures. Why it matters. The COOF pandemic economic consequences are unprecedented for the U.S. by any measure. I still say it's the largest transfer of wealth in modern history. I've been saying that since day one, and I don't see me giving that one up either. Where'd we go? The toll we estimate that it took on the nation's gross domestic product is twice that of the Great Recession of 2007 and 2009. Man, I suffered horribly. I'm about ready to jump off a building like they did during the stock market crash in the early 1900s. It's 20 times greater than the economic cost of the 9/11 terror attacks and 40 times greater than the toll of any other disaster to befall the U.S. in the 21st century to date. Jeez. Although the federal government has now lifted, I say, remember, this is 2023 piece, lifted the public health emergency declaration, the pandemic is still influencing the U.S. economy. The labor force participation rate, which stood at 62.6% in April 2023, has only recently neared the February 20 level of 63.3%. What is not known, we modeled only the pandemic's standard economic effects. We didn't estimate the vast array of economic costs tied to the COOF. And that's a link. I'm not going to hyperlink to it, but I'll put the link for this article in the description box in case somebody want to go hit any of these hyperlinks that you see here. Okay. Such as lost years of work, which happened, and lost years of school kids in school. Lost years of work after an early passing or severe case of long COOF. We also didn't assess the cost due to the many ways that the disease has affected the physical and mental health of the U.S. population or the learning loss experienced by students. Dang, all I had to do was keep reading, right? Yeah. I think the American education system was in a bad spot as it is, but I still see people. I talked to Carrie and Slime. I see people every day in public wearing masks when I go to San Antonio. I don't see none out here. I ain't seen a mask out here, and I couldn't tell you when. Didn't hardly see any during the active COOF out here. And we just like, man, get out of here. But you go to San Antonio, you still see people walking around with masks on. Hey, they wanna. I ain't beating them up on it, but to me it's crazy. And we talk about Mr. Musk, which everybody know I'm no fan of prior to all this. Because I remember that big crashing expose I done over his automotive product, but I'll leave that alone. But you want to talk about who done had the largest effect, in my opinion, and a lot of other people way smarter than me, over the United States, politically and economically, that's not an elected official, which nobody elected Elon. Nobody elected him either. But look what we got out of him. What did we get? And he gets to walk off into the sunset. Y'all be good and be safe. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you already know what I think. So, ain't no need of me even going into it. Come on, observer. Let's observe our asses out of here. Y'all be good and be safe. Bye.